Then I ended up going to his place.
Okay.
And a bedroom door opened and a woman walks out. So I was like,
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are talking to you guys about Jasmina and Michael. And specifically, we're talking about the fact that Jasmina is unaware that her and Michael are both to blame. She's unaware that she and Michael have similar traits as to why they are feeling the way they are feeling. She's unaware to the fact that she was just as problematic when it comes to trying to be right as he was. And we all saw that. And she just needs to see it now. I'm not saying that he's perfect. We'll deal with him on part two. But it's also interesting that the fact the friend picked up those things as well for Jasmina. So let's just start to break down some of these things. But before we do, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returning, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals, baby. Before we go anywhere, let's get the intro going, baby. Little Black Book, you know what time it is. All right, let's talk a little bit about Jasmina and her conversation with her friend. Let's break it down.
I never knew you lived with a woman.
Right.
And I don't care that he lives with a woman. I live with a man.
Yeah.
Again, I think with this particular case as well, as she just kind of showed us as well, she was right to feel the way she did about this situation because a woman had come out of his room. And he had lied about the situation. Instead of just being honest, he literally lied about the situation, which the friend kind of goes on to explain maybe potentially why he lied, which I think, again, just shows how astute this young lady is, the friend, in terms of just even highlighting and maybe potentially putting out a different reason. I thought it was a little bit more nefarious than that, but I will still take her explanation of why he potentially lied because it's definitely plausible. But what's interesting is the fact that as she's building this narrative, Jasmina, she's not. I wouldn't even say she's fallen into a trap, but she's explaining it in terms of what Michael has been doing and what Michael has caused as an issue. What have you done, Jasmine, to cause this issue? Is it only been Michael arguing? It's only been Michael that has been trying to do the right thing, but doing it wrongly? Is he the only one, or are you also part of that cog of network? I mean, a lot of people oftentimes when they do explain a story, they do miss parts where they actually did something and they were at fault for it. It's human nature, I guess, in some aspects, but it's about being aware as well in terms of what you contributed towards a downfall or something. I didn't really hear that from her. But again, we'll play the clip and see what I want.
Just like,
Why wasn't he forthcoming with
yeah,
that
like why
information?
wouldn't you say it? So as far as trust goes with Michael and I, it's not really there yet.
And I think this is what the most important thing is for Jasmina, is that she wants the trust to be there. She needs the trust to be there, in fact. And this is the trust that they both need is because they've experienced loss. See, and I don't want to go too deep in this. Maybe I'll do a part two for this. But the reason why they're having trouble, as they've both stated, it was beautiful at it was beautiful at the wedding day. It was beautiful up until it got to the honeymoon and they had their first argument. We saw the first argument. It is nothing to make you guys go, oh my gosh, you're really bad. It should be nothing like that until I realize there lies the answer. If that argument, that very first argument, having an argument about, I think that, people are going to argue and you're saying that he's being negative in that moment. If that one argument is what causes you to feel some type of way, and that's the beginning of the landslide, I should say, because there was more than one argument, but that's the beginning of the landslide of you looking at him some way and him looking at you some way, because they both agree that the wedding was beautiful. After the wedding, the connection was there, everything like that. But all of a sudden, when it got to that argument, that's da. So in a sense, Michael was right. What he sensed was a change in the mood, was absolutely right, because their mood had shifted. That's what Jasmine is now testifying to. But hey, they have issues with the feeling of being abandoned. They have issues, both of them, of the feeling of losing someone important to them. So do you know what happens? When they argue, fear kicks in. And the fear of losing that person actually makes them do the reverse. Rather than pulling closer to them and being clingy, they push away, as in order to protect their hearts from one another. So instead of pulling together, they push away, See, that push away means that I can regain control over myself. I don't fall, and I don't have my emotions being pulled in that direction. I can maintain composure. And that's what I'm seeing with both of them, right? A fear of being a fear of if I get too close, and then when we argue, you might leave, or we might leave me. We might get close, and then one day when we argue, you might leave me. The fear of abandonment again, playing, I believe, in their arguments. And I think what happens in that aspect for both of them is, like I said, they try to gain control, and that then leads to, if I'm right, then you have to come to my side. If I'm right, you have to come to my side, right? And then it leads them down this road of both trying to be right, and actually what they do is they end up cancelling each other. Now, she doesn't trust him, and I don't think he fully trusts her, right? And I don't think he fully trusts her either. So we're going to have to work on this trust from both sides and both parties. Because evidently, we've seen that when they argue, things don't go well at all. They really have catastrophic arguments, which don't even seem like bad arguments, but it's because the emotional toll is so heavy. They are both wrestling from a place of fear that we will lose someone that we love. We'll lose someone that we like. I don't want to give you the opportunity to care about me enough that when you leave, I've got to start all over again and pick up the pieces. He suffered loss through death. She suffered loss through abandonment. There's a lot of that, I think, in the mix of what's going on between the two of them as well. Sister gave some great advice, and I'll talk about that another time as well, but yeah.
Maybe he thought that it wouldn't look good, but like not realizing that it would look worse if he wasn't forthcoming with that information.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I said, I'll say again, there was no need for him to do that. No need for him not to come out and say it. There's nothing to fear, because at the end of the day, you might have lived with two women, she lived with a man, he was overthinking it. And his overthinking led him to now be deceitful, because that's what it was. He was being deceitful. He lied. And so, unfortunately, that's going to, again, damage the trust in Jasmina. Because you see, both of them need trust. He needs an emotional trust. She needs a reassurance that he's going to be there. And so when both parties are getting what they desire from each other, things are going to be great. But when they don't, they start feeling that pull, okay, of I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have trusted you. I knew that I shouldn't have fallen. I knew I shouldn't have let my guard down, because when I let my guard down, people leave me. People just leave, right? So, and again, remember, as human beings, we want to be in control. So anything that we can put ourselves into control, we're going to be happy with. If we're in a scenario where we don't know why this has happened to us, it's very disheartening, and powerless feeling comes upon us as a human being. Yeah. So it's a lot to digest in that aspect as well.
I really think it just comes down to having conversations with each other. Communication just comes from communicating.
I love that point. She said, communication comes from what? Communicating. You need to be able to communicate to make this work. Without communication, without practicing communication, you're not going to get better at communication. Okay? But, I still get her point that, there's a way to deliver information, and she didn't like it. Really interesting earlier on that she spoke about tone. And the friend was like, well, you don't like any tone. Basically, you don't like being told off. If anything tells you off, if anything sounds like being told off, if anything sounds like you're being wrong, if anything sounds like it goes against you, you're going to consider it a tone, right? Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But when she said that, obviously, you don't like any tone, I was like, what you mean, Willis? What you mean? Hey. So let's play a little bit more of the clip, and then we'll talk some more.
So the more you communicate, the better you get at communicating with that person. With my fiance, like, he comes home and like immediately tells me what he had for lunch.
And I love this point, because this is a very powerful point. I think even as a man, I really do appreciate what she's saying here. Not I think, I am. And the reason why is because, us men we also need a safe space to come and rest our head. We need a safe space to also come and tell our day to. Women sometimes think they're the only ones that need it. We need it too. And men sometimes think that women don't think that they want it. And women are saying, we want you to share with us. And sometimes we don't see it either, because we're lacking emotional availability and emotional intelligence. But, I want to be able to have a partner where I can also be like, babe, look, my day's been mad. I'm not going to lie to you. And it was probably nothing even really happened. I just got back on the laptop didn't turn on. Took 2 hours of my life. Boom. I can have deep conversations all day, but I do love the fact that I can come home and speak to my missus and tell her, listen, that's how I'm feeling. And that those are the type of conversations that build not only trust at a premium, but also begin to allow us to really merge as one. The Bible says two shall become one. Those are the kind of conversations that merge us as one, because when you care about my little things, naturally the big things will be taken care of. If you care about the little things, naturally you will build to care about the bigger things. All right.
In the afternoon. And like in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't care. But I love to hear it because I love that he wants to tell me about his day.
And that's one of the most important things she's saying here. I don't really care for the conversation, but I love the fact that he gets to tell me about his day, the fact that he feels that he likes to tell me about his day. Do you see where this servitude of each other is important? What she's describing here is servitude of one another. And I hope that it's vice versa for her too. The same way he will listen for her, I hope. And, you know, be open and okay with her conversation as well. Like saying, hey, look, I want to hear what you're saying for the day. What's been on your mind? You know, and when you really love someone, man, when you really care about someone, you know, when you're in deep and you're emotionally intelligent, you know, you do want to hear about their day. Even if it's not that great, you be laughing at some things. I remember, you know, my girlfriends I've in the past, you know, they'll tell me about the day. I'm like, how's your day gone? It's gone like this. I'm like, oh man, that sounds kind of bad. Like, what happened? She'll tell me about the day. I'm like, oh babe, that's so bad. I'm listening. Go on. Like, and it's just a case of like, I genuinely care. I invested myself into you, so I'm investing myself into your day. I'm investing myself into you wanting to tell me about your day and how it's been. You know, what could have been better about your day, you know? And again, these are all the little aspects of a relationship that maybe we miss because we get so caught up on the bigger things. But these are little tiny little things that people can do to really help their relationship move along in the right direction. Just be intrigued by your partner day by day.
So just talk as much as you can. And more conflicts will arise. That's just part of having a relationship.
Oh, is your friend telling you what Michael was telling you? So the argument that you had, which was not worth the argument, stay hydrated, is their friend telling you the exact same thing that Michael told you, Jasmina? That conflicts will arise. He did say that, didn't he? Because conflicts will arise naturally. And is your friend being negative? Is your friend being pessimistic? Is your friend trying to be a Debbie Downer? No. She's just letting you know the 411, letting you know the real. I hope 411 even makes sense.
With a person. So like maybe next time try something different.
But I think my thing is...
Now, as soon as she said that, what did Jasmina do? But because what she has to come and do is what? Be right. You can't get her to be wrong. She has to be right. And at the end of the point, that's why the but's coming in now. So she's hearing this conversation, but because here's the thing. Whenever relationships are having issues, it's a two-pronged thing. Look, earlier on in the episode, or later on, when Jasmina's, not Jasmina, it's Lynn, yeah, Jasmina. I think it's Jasmina, or is it? Yeah, it might have been Jasmina. Yeah, when the sister is talking to Michael, and the sister is saying, oh, you know, you need to be trustworthy. You need to create that safe space for her to tell you stuff. You got to be that safe space so she can trust you, da-da-da-da-da. I was like, but if he does that and she just moves mad, it won't make a difference. But I realized I was getting triggered. Yeah, I was getting triggered. So now my brain was telling me, oh, fight. Tell her that, nah, man, because what about me? And then you realize that's where it gets you. That's the trick. That's where relationships fail. What about me? When really it should be about, and Jasmine is thinking, what about me right now? I am in the right. No. We don't do right yet. Unless it concerns us as a couple. That's the only right we're looking for. Yes, you may be in the right position in terms of the fact this maybe an argument that happened. You were in the right, but it's not about being right. It's about making sure that both of us are on the right page by the end of this argument. Okay.
When he thinks he's right, he thinks he's right.
That sounds just like you, though.
Didn't I say that, Jasmina? That I said this episodes before. Episodes before. She thinks she's always right. He thinks he's always right. They're gonna clash. But the fact is the fact is she was saying it like as if he was the one that was doing it. We're not realizing she's contributing towards it. And a lot of you guys in relationships are doing this. You don't realize you're contributing towards it. Oh, it's him, it's him, it's him. Well, sit down with me as a coach. You'll realize that I will start pointing out some things that you're doing. Because there's no way it's just one person, right? If someone breaks down, it's both of us. Now, he may have cheated, he may have moved mad, he may have done something. But what did you learn from it? What did you grasp from it? What did you get out of it? If you're observing and paying attention, you'll realize there are things that you're going to get out of this situation. Good or bad, you're going to get some observations.
That's not true.
It is true. I've known you for 4 years.
I can admit when I'm wrong.
Pause. Notice that what a friend said. He said, no, that's you. And she said, that's not me. The self-awareness. The self-awareness. That's not me. I can admit when I'm wrong. All right, cool. Let's see what the friend says.
Yeah, but you don't do it often.
Yeah, because I'm not wrong often.
And there's the arrogance. So the arrogance and the pride is that you think you're the one that is right. You think you're the one that's got it correct. You think you're the one that's always doing the right thing. And yet you don't even realize yourself what you contribute towards the downfall of the relationship. And now we just seen it right there. Her lack of self-awareness. Her whole focus is on him and what he has done to hurt her because she's still in the mode of, trying to protect herself. So she's not even opening her eyes to see that, listen, it's right now I need to open my eyes and see where can I also help and aid the situation? Where can I help us grow? Because evidently me and him are very, very alike, but she couldn't see that. She just saw someone coming at her. Now she might have admitted it after. I'm sure she probably admitted that, you know what, you're right, we are quite similar. Jasmina and Michael are very similar, it seems like. And they could get along, but they need to be able to have a real conversation about what their actual needs are from each other person and if they can actually meet those needs. If they can't, then it might be time to vamios. I don't like divorce, but it might be after true. It might be time to vamios if they cannot merge on that aspect. So let me leave it there. Like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate, guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. We appreciate